Recently I came out with a video about how to subtract two functions. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do something that's a little bit similar. We're going to be going over how to add two functions. So let's say you're given some function f and g, and you're asked to find f plus g of something. So this requires a couple steps. You have to first figure out what the new function f plus g is, and then evaluate it at that point. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do both of those things. So be sure to stick around to the end of the video. You should be feeling a lot better about this by the end. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. To evaluate the indicated function for f of x equals x squared plus 1 and g of x equals x minus 4. But now the function that we need to evaluate is f plus g of t minus 2. So now this is a little different. We're going to kind of start the exact same as we did the last one. The first thing you want to do with any of these problems is first find whatever your generic function, whatever the operation is between these two functions, find that, but of x, or whatever your variable is, f of x, g of x, f plus g of x. So that's always going to be your first step. Once we find this generic function, then we can kind of worry about how the t minus 2 is going to come into play. So to do this, all we have to do is take our function f, which is x squared plus 1. We're going to put it in parentheses, x squared plus 1. And then we're going to say plus whatever our function g is, which is x minus 4. And again, put it all in parentheses, x minus 4 in parentheses, f plus g. So we're going to add those together. Here's our f, here's our g. F plus g is going to look like this. Okay. Now we can think about how to simplify with these parentheses. So in this case, since we just have a bunch of stuff being added, this plus sign is going to distribute in there. That's not really going to affect it. So we're just going to get this first set of parentheses isn't doing anything. There's nothing to distribute into those parentheses or anything like that. So we're just going to get x squared plus 1, and then plus x, and then a positive and a negative makes a negative, so minus 4. Okay. If you are getting some value out of this video so far, do me a huge favor, smash that like button down below. It really helps spread this video out to more people so we can keep growing the Jake's Math Lessons community and keep crushing it all term long in pre-calc or calculus or whatever math questions you have. So now from here, what we can do is we can just combine our like terms. So we have an x squared term, just one of them. There's not going to be another one we can combine there. Then we have a plus x term, just one of them. Can't really combine anything there. But then we do have a plus 1 and a minus 4, so we can combine those. So we're just going to have x squared plus x are going to kind of carry through. Plus 1 minus 4 is going to become minus 3. So now this is just our generic f plus g of x. Now we can actually deal with this t minus 2 here. So how do we deal with that? Basically, all that's saying is we're going to go to our function f plus g of x, and wherever we see an x, we need to replace it with t minus 2 in parentheses. That's a very key thing here. I'm sure you're sensing a theme at this point. Whenever you're kind of substituting in functions or substituting in, different numbers into a function, whatever the case is, you want to make sure to put parentheses around that because it's very easy to forget that. And when you do, things are not going to distribute or FOIL or simplify the way that they should, and you're going to end up at the wrong answer. So make sure that when we do this, we're going to go to our function f plus g right here. Wherever we see an x in our function, which you can see we have two x's, one right here, one right here. All we're going to do is replace those x's with t minus 2. So we're going to change this x out for a t minus 2. Make sure to put it in parentheses. That's all going to be squared. Then plus, change this x out for t minus 2. Again, make sure it's in parentheses. And then minus 3. Okay, so now from here we can FOIL this out. So do be careful when you have t minus 2 all squared. A common mistake I see people make there is they would just square the t, square the negative 2, say t squared plus 4. That's not how this is going to work, or t squared minus 4. You want to be very careful whenever you have multiple terms being added or subtracted inside parentheses like this, and it's all being squared. Think about what squared means. Anything squared is the same as saying that thing times itself, right? X squared is the same as x times x. 2 squared is the same as 2 times 2. Anything squared is itself times itself. So t minus 2 squared needs to be rewritten as t minus 2 times t minus 2, with each t minus 2 being in parentheses like this. Okay, then we have plus t minus 2 minus 3. This set of parentheses here isn't really going to do anything. We're just going to get t, or plus t, and then minus 2, and then minus 3. Okay, so the reason why this, how we wrote those two terms squared like that, the reason why that's important is because to simplify this little chunk right here, what we have to do now is FOIL this out. So we're going to do t times t is t squared. T times negative 2 is minus 2t. Negative 2 times t is minus another 2t. And then negative 2 times negative 2 is plus 4. Okay, then we still just have plus t. Minus 2 and minus 3 will just combine to minus 5. Now we have just one single t squared term right here, so that's going to stay the same. Then we have a minus 2t plus t, so that's minus 2t is negative 4t, plus t is minus 3t, and then plus 4 minus 5 simplifies to negative 1. So now this is the entire f plus g of t minus 2. And this is as simplified as it's going to get. So, notice it is kind of weird. The thing that we were plugging into f plus g has a t in it. So our final answer isn't just a number because we weren't plugging a number into our function. We just basically have some different function that's a function of t instead of a function of x. So a little bit odd there, but yeah, that's as simplified as it's going to get, and that's going to be our answer. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I did come out with another video recently about how to subtract two functions and evaluate that new function at a specific point. If you haven't already checked that out, I highly recommend that you go check out that video right there, because that's going to be a good way for you to keep building on the knowledge that we just talked about in this video. You're definitely going to want to be familiar with both topics and have both skills under your belt as you move forward.